Hello everybody, my name's Answim. Welcome to a brand new Let's Play series in Hearts of Iron 4 Kaiserreich. Today we're going to be going back to China. They just had a recent update last week, I want to say, sometime around there. And they've updated the Shanxi tree. We're going to be playing as Shanxi today, which is, I think, the only kind of like warlord in China we played. You know, we played the Qing, we played Feding government. We played Left KMT. We played all the factions that have declared themselves to be the legitimate government of China. Once, you know, the entire thing's gonna break apart in about a month and a half. But I haven't played any like the warlords here. You know, Shanxi, Shandong, Hunan. I guess Yunnan's also a warlord if you don't go right KMT. And then we've got Jibai Sanma and Zhejiang over here. But today we're in Shanxi. They've gotten a rework. I don't know why Shanxi of all countries, but fuck it, we're here for it. So we are starting off, honestly, I would say with a pretty impressive army. 15 divisions for a country of our size seems pretty good. I will draw them on the border everywhere because things are about to be going pretty badly for the country, I will say. Research slots, we've got 2, which is terrible. We'll go research speed as well as production efficiency cap. We have a lot of horrible modifiers as well. So we have terrible war support, terrible war justification time. But I mean, we get less intelligence to the enemy. So that's something. We've also got negative 25% factory output. Very cool. Negative 20% organization. Fantastic. Negative 35% research speed. Fucking love it. Just it's bad. Things right now in Shanxi are terrible. And there's no but in there. It's just terrible. So we have 5 factories right now. We're at 2, 0, and 3. I'm gonna go with 1 military factory, or 1 civilian factory, I should say, for now. Cause I mean, yeah, 2, 0, 3 is a completely reasonable ratio there. And we're starting off. We already have a focus. You can't change this. We got New Year's old problems. I'm not too sure how exactly this campaign is going to play out. Are we going to declare ourselves a Republic of China? It is theoretically possible if we take Beijing, but I don't know what the likeliness of that actually occurring is. So we might end up siding with, you know, the Qing, or we might end up siding ourselves with maybe Chen Xiaoming, or being in the Feding government. I'm not really too sure who we can align ourselves with. But more than likely, we're going to be choosing a side rather than being a major power player ourselves. So the Shanxi clique. Shanxi is a proud province with an ancient and illustrious history, said to be where Yu the Great released the waters of the Yellow River in ages past. This mountainous and isolated province has been ruled by various Chinese dynasties since antiquity, and has since come under the power of the Shanxi, or Jin clique. Despite its name, the clique only governs the western part of the Shanxi, as well as parts of the neighboring Shanxi province. Its leader is the wily and vulnerable governor, Yang Xishan, who has ruled the province since the GI Revolution in 1911. His ambitious projects seek to modernize the province, have earned him an adoration and moniker as the model governor. Once a contender in China's fractious power games in the north, Yan backed Yuan Shikai and later Jian Kriyu in their efforts to stabilize the rule of the Tyrian Chinese political landscape. However, the ultimate victory of Wu Paifu and his elite clique atop the embers of the dying Beijing Republic in 1928 saw Zheng Xiaolin forced back into Manchuria and Fang Yuxiai's retreat with the Gao Jimin into Yan's protection. The former enemies were forced to present a united front against the growing power of the Zili and accepted a nominal restoration of the Qing monarchy in exchange for Beijing's recognition of Yan as governor. Reeling from their disastrous participation in the Northern Expedition and the Fourth Zili-Fantian War, the 2 strongmen of Shanxi swore that they would regroup and get their revenge. Nearly a decade later, things have not gone planned out the way they had hoped. Despite Yan's flattering nickname and Fang's idealistic rhetoric, the territory of Shanxi clique is littered with half-finished or outright failed projects. 10-year plan to revitalize Shanxi lies largely stalled. The province remains largely an economic backwater. Going into 1936, the same old problems of corruption, poverty, and neglect will likely plague the land for at least 1 more year. Still, despite all that has gone wrong, a similar attitude remains. In the end, neither man can afford to sit idle amid a changing China. So our old governing partners take their seats. We get 25 political power. Fantastic. I do know this. I think this is if we. I guess we don't need to control Beijing. If we just have more units than the Qing, or and if the Qing and the Feding government, I guess we can declare ourselves to be a player for the for unification. I don't know what the likeliness of that actually is. Oh, so that's just based on army strength ratio. I don't know where that actually is. I don't believe that's just divisions. It might come from manpower, actually. I don't actually know. But anyways, we will continue on here. We'll probably get a few more events. Kaiserreich loves their events, and you know what? I like the events too. Governor Yan is the only power in Shanxi. After deciding to cast their lots with the Kuomintang in 1926, Marshal Fang Yoshi's Guajmin retreated to Shanxi the following year. Badly bloodied and with their organization in tatters, Yan's defeat shortly afterwards forced the two men to come to an arrangement. And when Wu Paifu sought to stamp out the GMJ once and for all, Yan publicly declared that should Fang be forced to leave China, together we will see the world hand in hand. And it said that Fang in turn declared Yan with his sworn brother solidifying their alliance. Since then, the relationship has been largely symbolic, with two larger-than-life figures promoting a seemingly complementary mission of progress. Yan's recognition by the central government in Beijing has kept the province legally protected, and his decades of deep ties with local gentry have helped stabilize the province. Fang, a widely traveled soldier, has cultivated positive ties with the commoners, and his zealous, experienced army helps guard the province's mountain passes. However, both men compete for the spotlight, both internally and abroad, and beneath the surface, lie two rather different versions for saving China. Yan believes China needs a strong political figure that will lift it from poverty and longs for a stable society built around Confucian, albeit not seriously traditionalist line. Fang beliefs are more revolutionary, calling for a radical change in the nation for the sake of the people. Unfortunately, as the years have gone by, neither of the visions have grown any closer to being realized. So we basically have a choice. Eventually, we're going to either be able to go with the Yan clique or be able to go for the Gaoxianjin. I'm leaning towards going for the Gaoxianjin. I know I'm going to be butchering every single pronunciation. I don't speak Mandarin. I know. Shocking. The shocking revelation there. Yeah, I'm not going to read this one. Basically, the AOG is going to fuck everything up in China very, very soon. But yeah, we're probably going to go for Gaoxian National Army. That should align ourselves more with... I do know, yeah, there's a button here that kind of showed everyone's relations in China. I think they've removed it in this update. But we're probably mostly going to try to align ourselves with, like, federalist elements in the south. Thanks to this larger funding for the Gaoxianjin. Pleased by Yan's decision to maintain Shanxi's autonomy from Beijing, Fang has offered to host Yan for the next meeting. The topic is one familiar to both men, though not necessarily for the better: military spending. A strong force is essential for defense of the province. Has kept Wu Peifu desperate. Has kept Wu Peifu despite his victory in the north 8 years ago. However, for a poor province such as Shanxi, supplying an army, much less two, is a heavy burden on an already strained economy. Indeed, for all their talk about the strength of the Yi-Fiang alliance, both men have elected to maintain their own separate armies loyal to them: the Shanxi Provincial Army and the Nationalist Army, respectively. Save on cost, both armies have cut down their size since 1930. Yan and Fang championed the notion that the army should serve and be among the people, helping in public work projects and sometimes setting farms. While idealistic in theory, in practice, many soldiers resent being treated as glorified coolies, and the quality of the armies have suffered in the last 6 years. The lack of unity between Shanxi's armies has contributed to inefficiency, and both Yan and Fang have noted this. They have refused to give ground on which army should take the lead. Still, with the little additional funds and no change in provincial situation in sight, both are expected to graciously table discussion for now, focus on other matters in Shanxi. You either go, the price is too high. I would like to know more about our armies. You know, you're right. Other two armies guarding Shanxi, the provincial army is closer to Qianyan. The Shanxi provincial army is an outgrowth of Yang's earlier need to protect the province from roving bandits and warlord armies. As one of the few armies in China composed exclusively of men from its own province, on paper it is a motivated force capable of protecting its soldiers' homes. Supplied with weapons from modern Zhejiang arsenal, and with locally trained officers recruited from the educated gentry, most would expect them to be a formidable force. However, in practice, his army severely struggles to fight any spirited foe, especially outside of Shanxi proper. Like many armies in China, desertion is common and morale is low. Many join the military for the sake of a stable job, pay, and personal power, fleeing when their lives are at stake. The Gaoxian is a force slowly assembled by Fang Zhouxing over the years of fighting and roaming across northern China. Spirited, disciplined, and populous at its core, the Gaoxian draw from their ranks many men from outside of the borders of the Shanxi clique, who have since settled down in Shanxi. Fang and the Gaoxian pride themselves on being an army of the Lo Baxin, the peasant and the commoners. The Republican, quasi-socialist, and experienced army boasts of its quality, though in practice, superiority to other militias army is debatable. Together, it is up to these two to defend Shanxi from outside aggression, but whether they are competent or detract from one another remains to be seen. And by yeah. Well, again, we're probably going to be going for the Gao Xiumin. And I know Gao Minjun. That sounds more right. Also, I haven't noted this quite yet. I don't know how I feel about this new color for the Qing. I like the blue. I liked that like deep navy blue color they have. This gray, I'm more hit on miss on it, to be honest. Okay, we got German mining in East Shanxi. These are the German avarice, no few boundaries. Ever since the end of the Fourth Zilifanian War, Wu Peifu's troops have occupied eastern Shanxi, threatening Taijun. Under protection, German mining companies have set up a camp in this valuable province, sucking out our nation's wealth to the benefit of foreigners. With growing controversy over the rule of foreign interest brewing among the intellectual class, this rush of German-backed speculation is generating considerable outrage, harkening back to the anti-concessionist student protests in the 1920s. For leadership of Shanxi, it's a bitter reminder of the loss of eastern part of the province, and they have condemned the zealous foreign mercenaries doing the bidding of their German masters. Realizing that the right attention threatens good business, the Pekin Syndicate has offered, on behalf of German interests, some monetary compensation to the provincial government. Some, however, see this as paltry, a testament to Western arrogance and the unequal relationship between the Chinese and outsiders. Resistance goes up by 10%, and that is for Eastern Shanxi, which is controlled right now by the Qing. I will definitely denounce foreign concessions. Fuck the Germans. We don't like them. Okay, Black Monday has occurred. And Black Monday has arrived. Is it only a negative 10% stability? I will 100% take that if that's as bad as it gets. Terrible news is washed over China from a world away, reaching even a province as isolated as ours. As the aftershocks of the Black Monday spread, the Shanghai Stock Exchange has collapsed, as have many other trading houses across the country. Then the Chinese economy is spiraling. Although Shanxi's government has worked to coordinate itself off from the rest of the Chinese economy, trade has been utterly pulverized in many sectors with ties to the coast. This has an unfortunate effect on crippling our exports and worsening what was already an impoverished province. Many few returned to the bad times of the Shanxi, where starvation was rampant and parents sold their children in order to feed themselves. Already anti-concessions and anti-foreign protests have begun to emerge from Taiyuan, as already struggling students, many of whom couldn't find a job even in the previous economy, begin to seek scapegoats. Fingers are being pointed at the provincial bank of Shanxi, struggles to maintain the faith of the population and the business community. Although perhaps it's not as hard to hit as many parts of the world, as far as the people of Shanxi are concerned, the situation is, without a doubt, an utter disaster. Again, these people have no sense of how good they have it. I mean, you're starving and you're selling your children. You've only got a negative 10% stability penalty. That is completely acceptable. All the governor's men. There has been much said, and much to be said, about Jian Xishan and Fang Yusheng. For all their pretenses of grandeur, they are merely the center of a larger machine. The warlord does not govern simply through military force and extortion, but rather by building semi-legitimate authority through their ability to protect and provide for the people. Over the years, complicated networks developing, including civilian bureaucrats, intellectuals, military men, the high society, and the underground. Assisting the leaders of Shanxi are a collection of various advisors, official and less so, with profound influence. While many serve in the cabinet, this group does not consist of mere functionaries and technocrats. These men are distinguished by their ability to capture and represent key stakeholders in Shanxi society, channeling their power into building ties with certain facets of the province. Naturally, the jockeys for influence in their pet projects and have already chosen side in Shanxi's fractious politics. These gentlemen are essential to the good function of Shanxi, and may have probably some many benefits if we align with them. But we should also be warned that there are only so many we can favor at once. It's up to the governor to choose his favorites wisely. To get some more political power. Right now, we don't have any advisors. And it looks like makes banking-related decisions, make nationalist Jan's nephew. So all these people, they will matter. Okay, I like that. I like how which advisor we actually take has a bigger gameplay impact than just, hey, get a 10% factory bonus, which is nice. Retention increased by 2. I think we should switch colors. Yes, we will, because we're no longer a puppet of the Qing. The Qing have completely collapsed in their authority. Draw a line towards Beijing. Not that I'm expecting we're going to be sending troops in that direction anytime soon. How many? We have 223 guns. And our units are ass. But that's kind of to be expected. I wasn't really expecting too much greatness here. telegram from Beijing. As the days go on and the crisis and brawl in the league continues to spiral out of control, a new era of violence dawns on China. Yan Xishan is no stranger to these politics. He has survived decades of warlord strife since the 1911 revolution. If one is to survive, one needs to be pragmatic in her decision making. There's little room for petty grudges or private alliances. Flexibility is key. So, with Wu Baifu's grip on China weakening and already overstretched Central Army forced to watch both the north and south, Beijing clearly could use us as a friend. But friendship requires commitment, and in this area of shifting loyalties, it doesn't come free. Shanxi, for all its efforts over the last few decades, can use a friend too. One with deep pockets and enough discretion to avoid encroaching on the province's fine-tuned system. Perhaps Shanxi's self-imposed isolation can, at last, come to an end, and a new partnership arranged with the authorities and central government. As he completes the telegram, the gears turn inside the unscrupulous mind of the model governor. War and chaos bring opportunity. In these uncertain times, alignment shifts rapidly. If his cards are played right, perhaps this is the first step to national unification on his terms. Well, first things first. 15% stability. You are a negative 10% stability, but you also give us a lot of options here, which I think would be nice. Out of Beijing Shadows, that's the one we want to... I'm not too sure. I mean, at some point we don't want to be in Beijing Shadow. I do want to be anti-Qing. Let's get a 15% stability bonus. I think that seems like a nice place to start here. Okay, so we're currently paying an influence. Take loan from the Qing government. Right now they have 19 influence in Beijing Shadow. The Qing government has a firm hold on our economy, and I want to get rid of that. We can grow their influence. We get 100 political power. Having Wang Zhang as an advisor would make banking relations decisions stronger. Or we can play in political power. So we can either pay the 10% or we pay 50 political power. Which, I mean, seems like that could be pretty good. We get a research bonus for 50 political power. You're 10% factory, but honestly, you're not actually that good. You're also like, neither of you are really that convincing right now. Bang leaves for Shanxi, but Shanxi, that's a different Shanxi. Right now we're in Shanxi. They're in Shanxi, which it might be. I don't know where that is. Is it like a different city? I don't know where Shanxi with 2 A's are. Fang leaves for Shanxi. Outrage can scarcely describe Fang Yudun's mood. As Yan propositions Beijing, he scorns his current dance partner. Despite Yan's disingenuous assurances that it's merely a ploy to gather resources for national liberation, for the Gujin accept any aid from the corrupt Zili and their Manchu puppets is a fundamental betrayal of principles underwriting the alliance. Like Yan, Fen signs the opportunity that son Chu Feng's demise brings. Rather than merely supplanting the old order, he intends to utterly dismantle it. Personally insulted by not having been consulted on the telegram and unconvinced by Yang's half-hearted excuse, Feng has walked out of Taiyuan and with many of his associates. As he expected to head to Yuan in Shanxi, where the majority of the Gunshan are based, even before his arrival, the Gaojuin have been agitating their beloved Longbijan. Inciting them against the imperialist capitalist exploitation of the last decade and the Haijin in China who enable it. In many ways, outside observers have found the Gongjian withering across the 1930s. But if they had ever fallen asleep in their exile, then they certainly awaken now. Emboldened with their new zeal, Feng and his movement claim to remain loyal to the government of the people of Shanxi, which apparently means that they are still a part of the government. For now, at least. But we all know what the old diarchy is teetering on the verge of collapse, and Feng is plotting. Just what is uncertain, a coup or revolution or rebellion, but certainly nothing good for Yang Zhishan. So they've left our alliance. So what we need to do here, because I think that we should be getting a new little mini game. There we go. Here it is. The little mini game I was just talking about. The struggle for Shanxi starts. Ever since the retreat of Gongjian to Shanxi, Governor Yang Zhishan and Field Marshal Fang Yusheng have presented an image of strong friendship, swearing to become blood brothers. This held Shanxi together as a neutral and stable state for nearly a decade. the former opponents in the northern Chinese political arena banded together against the mutual threats of Wu Baifu and Zheng Xiaolin. However, over the years, Yan Xishan has known that he must be wary of Fang Yushan's influence. Yan's power has traditionally been with the provisional government as the officially recognized governor of Shanxi and a sense of a delicate web of various entrenched interests. Fang, on the other hand, stakes his power in his control of the powerful Gaijin, a nationalist and comparatively revolutionary army that has been noted for its fanatical zeal. Combined, their strength has deterred Wu Baifu and the central government from taking any serious action against the region and stripping Xiayun from Yan. But as the tide change in China, it would appear this alliance simply cannot last. Both men are proud leaders with a distinct vision of how Shanxi and indeed China should be run. Shanxi is a poor province, few resources and little time to accommodate even one agenda for the future. The previously lethargic and widely ignored 10-year plan, implemented in 1930, as a province reeled from its latest defeats, has suddenly attracted considerable attention from both parties. As they seek to bolster their legitimacy across Shanxi, it is also no secret that outside observers are watching too. No doubt Shanxi's future leader hopes to prove themselves as a model governor, a potential candidate for the leadership of China. Okay. Battle of Shanxi will be waged between Yan Xishan and his clique, the paternal autocrats, versus Fang Yun and the Gaijin, the authoritarian democrats, for control over Shanxi. In decision menu, okay, so this is just telling us how to play it. We should have some new things in here. We can purge the Gaijin, or we've got a looming coup. Yan has won the struggle. Barring foreign invasion or other special circumstances, the power struggle in Shanxi will always end with either purge or revolution. Yan will remain dominant should the Jiamen miss their chance. And again, I would like to win the struggle. One should push the balance of power to 100% on either side. Ending the struggle early by purging the Gaijin or allowing the timer to run out will incur a penalty proportionate to the distance the meter is from 100. So I'm assuming, does that say in here? And they're currently gathering strength, which might be bad or might be okay. We'll see. But I think at least for right now, the board has been set. Pretty good time for us to end off for today. So thanks for watching. Tune in tomorrow. Play some more Kaiserreich. But until then, have a great day and goodbye.